Hey guys, welcome back to K-versation. It's Daniel here. Today, I want to dive into a topic that's close to my heart and family's background: Korean education. As a Korean American student growing up in the Bay Area, I have seen two very different worlds when it comes to school: Korea's highly structured, exam focused system, and the more flexible, open model we have here in the US. So, in this episode, I'm going to talk about what the Korean education system looks like, how it differs from US schools, and why education is so important in Korea. First, let's break down how the Korean education system is structured. Elementary school in Korea is called 초등학교. It runs through grades 1 and 6, and kids start around the age 6 or 7. They focus on the basics: Korean language, math, social studies, science, English, art, and so on. School days usually run from about 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., similar to elementary schools here. But right after school, most students head to hagwon, which are private academies for extra studying in subjects like English, math, or even music. Middle school. Middle school is called 중학교. 중학교 runs from grades 7 through 9 and ages roughly from 13 to 15. Middle school students have longer days. Classes typically run from 8 a.m. until around 4 p.m. After that, they often go to hagwons until 9 or 10 p.m. The curriculum even gets more specialized: Korean literature, history, advanced math, science electives, and a stronger emphasis on English. There's a bigger focus on grades since they feed into high school placement. High school is called 고등학교. 고등학교 is grades 10 through 12 and ages roughly 16 to 18. High school is where things get really intense because everything builds towards the 수능, which is the national college entrance exam. Most high schools run from 8 a.m. until about 4 p.m., but students often stay on campus for after school self study sessions that can go until 6 or 7. Then many head off to hagwons again. At high school, you can also choose between different tracks: general academics, foreign language, or vocational. In general academic tracks, students spend most of their day preparing for 수능. And finally, there's 수능. 수능 is the one-day exam held in November each year. It covers Korean language, math, English, Korean history, social studies, or science electives, and also a second foreign language or Chinese characters. Everyone in the same grade across the nation takes it at the exact same time. Your score basically determines which university you can get into: Seoul National, Korea University, Yonsei, or others. Prep for the exam starts as early as freshman or sophomore year of high school. It is very high stakes. If you score just a few points lower, you might miss your dream school. Now, how does Korean schools differ from US schools? Well, in Korea, everything revolves around that one exam, 수능. Grades in middle and high school matter, but ultimately, you're being groomed to get the best possible score on 수능. In the US, by contrast, colleges look at our GPA, extracurriculars, personal essays, letters of recommendation, and standardized tests like ACT or SAT. There's more emphasis on being well-rounded, like sports, clubs, leadership, volunteering, and also showing your own personal interests. At a typical Korean high school, you're at school from roughly 8 to 4 p.m., then hagwons until 10 p.m., 6 days a week. In the US, a normal high school schedule might be around 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. And while some students stay for sports or clubs, most go home to do homework, hang out, or relax. Compared to Korea, there's more time after school to pursue hobbies, spend time with family, or relax. Also, Korean middle and high schools have a standardized national curriculum. Everyone learns from the same math textbook, the same history lessons. It's rigorous, and if you don't keep up, it's easy to fall behind. In the US schools can vary widely in what classes offer. Students can choose electives that interest them, like art, coding, psychology, or music, and there's generally more flexibility to explore different subjects instead of following one set track. But you might be wondering, why is education so important in Korea? Why do students and families put in this much effort and stress? Here's what I've learned. First, education has always been deeply valued in Korea because of Confucian values. Confucianism teaches that studying hard is one of the highest forms of respect you can show to your family and society. That mindset still shapes Korean culture today. On top of that, during the early 1900s, Korea was colonized by Japan, and most Koreans didn't even have the chance to get a proper education. So after independence, there was a huge desire to catch up and prove themselves on the world stage. Then after the Korean War and division between the South and North, South Korea felt pressured to develop quickly, both for national pride and for defense. Because of this, education became the way to build up the country's strength. And it worked. Today, South Korea has one of the most educated populations in the world. The government and families invest heavily in education. On average, Korean households spend around 12% of their income just on extra education outside of school. It's almost like they're taxing themselves to make sure their kids get ahead. Why? Because in Korea, higher education means higher respect and higher income. If you get into one of the top Sky universities, you're basically set up for life. These schools are ranked nationally, and only the top scorers on the college entrance exam get in. And from there, you get recruited by Korea's biggest and most powerful companies like Samsung, Hyundai, and LG. The company depends on having highly intelligent students to fuel these industries and keep Korea competitive globally. In short, the smarter you are, the better job you get. And these jobs are what keep Korea's economy strong and its influence growing worldwide. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you guys with some questions to think about. As we know, AI has become an integral of our daily lives, and there are many different views. These days, integrating AI into school curriculums is a huge topic of debate around the world. How would Korean schools feel about this? Should they add AI education into their already packed schedules? And if they do, how should they add it? Should it be another memorization based subject or something that encourages creativity and problem solving? Does Korea need to change its whole school curriculum? Also, with AI changing so many jobs and industries, I wonder, is it still smart for Korea to judge students mainly on how well they score on one big exam or how traditionally smart they are? What about creativity, innovation, and the ability to use tools like AI to think differently? Are those skills just as important as getting a perfect math score? I don't have all the perfect answers, but I think it's important to ask these questions, especially as education continues to evolve. Thank you. That's a wrap on K-versation. Thanks so much for listening, and let me know what you guys think. If you experienced Korean education firsthand, or if you're in the US and curious about studying abroad, drop me a message or leave a comment. I love to hear stories. If you're enjoying the podcast, don't forget to follow, rate, and share with your friends. Until then, I'm Daniel, and this is K-versation, where we chat about everything of Korea, from culture and history to food, dramas, and beyond. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you guys later.